questions for me or to give me ideas on some videos that I could shoot for the channel. And surprisingly, you guys did have a lot of questions, so it is officially Q&A time. This one is not Winston like you've seen in other videos. This is Miss Diamonds. She is just a little girl and she really wants to be a part of the video today, so we're gonna let her, and I'm gonna try to focus even though she is being very playful today. So the first question I have my laptop out of frame. So the first question is, do I ever feel overwhelmed juggling all my personal projects, and how do I work through that? Yes, I feel it's completely normal to get overwhelmed, especially for someone like me that I add and add and add every single task and passion project that you could imagine onto my schedule. But recently I have been able to get my schedule down to a T, and the hack, I guess, is not to think about everything that you have to do all at once. So I basically write everything down in my calendar instead of in a to-do list, because it can feel crazy when your to-do list is like 2 pages long, and it doesn't feel very structured for me. So I get every day on my calendar, it's like sectioned into 30-minute intervals for me to get stuff done. Obviously, if it's something bigger or more important, I will prioritize that, but I still block it in 30 minutes so that I know that there are other things that I have to do. And also, this is more like a mentality thing. I believe, because it has to, that everything will get done. So I've kind of shifted my mindset from feeling anxious because there's so much to do, so little time, so many hours in a day, and now it's just kind of like, put my head down. This is the one task I'm focusing on. Everything else will get done. So there's really no point in me getting like super worked up. And also, all of my projects and all of my jobs or whatever, I'm thankful that I have them. I'm thankful that I always have something to do. So I kind of also keep that in mind of like, wouldn't it be so much worse if I just woke up one day and found myself in like a monotonous routine? So that helps as well. And I know this sounds perfect and Remy, you've got it so under control. There are days that nothing goes to plan, the universe is conspiring against me, and on those days, unless I like really am on a deadline and it involves like another person or a colleague, I will stop everything. I will move the calendar stuff to another day, and I just take that day to rot. And I think it's really important that sometimes you just have to turn your brain off. If everything is not going to plan, if I feel like trash, I just take the day. I obviously don't allow it to happen often, but when it does happen, yeah, just embrace it, honestly. Also, something that's been helping me fight off being overwhelmed and stressed and everything are these Magic Mind performance shots. So I've been taking these since the month of January started, and because it has like ashwagandha, cordyceps mushrooms, it really, once I take it in the morning, I took mine for the day already, I genuinely feel like I can take on anything. I get really focused, I really hone in on the project or task at hand. I've even been cleaning every day. I used to be the kind of person that I would clean maybe or like pick up every day, but not clean. And now every day I find myself on this new routine that just allows me to genuinely, when I get in bed to go to sleep, I feel fulfilled. I feel like everything that I could have done, I did. I never feel myself crashing out either. Like when I used to drink coffee, I would either have to have like 4 cups of coffee a day if I woke up early, or I would have to take a nap because I was just so exhausted and mentally exhausted. And that's the main thing of this. I don't get mentally exhausted when I'm taking the performance shots anymore. And right now they're actually doing their mental wealth challenge on their website. So they're bundling the focus, as well as their sleep shot that you take before bed, and it doesn't have any melatonin, so you don't wake up groggy. So you can go ahead and check out the link in my description. It's going to be magicmind.com/RemiJan for 45% off if you're interested. Okay, Miss Diamonds is back for the second question, which is, how do I reclaim my energy? So let's get the woo-woo out of the way. I am someone that is very spiritual. Even though I don't preach about it as much as I used to, I still have a very, not intense, but I do have a spiritual practice that I try to do. I guess the thing that I do the most now is meditate, which I talk about often. But when I am feeling very out of touch with myself, I do something that is called an aura cleanse. Thankfully, I have a friend that does them, and you might be thinking, that sounds insane, yada, yada, yada. But the first time I got an aura cleanse, it was a couple of months after a breakup, and I found myself feeling like super lethargic. I would make excuses for everything. I was like kind of bitter. And my friend offered to just like do one for me. And basically what she does is like you hold black tourmaline crystals that absorb negative energy, and she puts like a bowl of water with salt to also absorb any residual energy. And with sound healing, you know, every vibration opens a certain chakra or opens a path to, whether it be manifestation, calming. Some vibrations can even help with certain organs of the body. So she does that, and then she cleanses each chakra. And the craziest about this, especially when it started my first time, I was giggling. I was like, this is kind of silly. And once I really decided to take it seriously, I was like swaying during the aura cleanse, and it was crazy. I had my eyes closed, but we were taking a video, and like she was doing the sound bowl, and every time she like moved the bowl in, I was like backing away and like coming in. And then also we had the same vision, I guess, like at the end. She asked me if I saw anything with my eyes closed, and at some point I saw like, it was all black, and then it was like my outline also inside was black, and the outline was like a glowing blue. And she was like, that's the same color, like that's my aura color. I've gotten my aura photographed several times. It's always the same shade of blue. So that is what I do when I'm really feeling like my energy is not my own. Someone like is penetrating it. Third question, do I practice affirmations? So for the last 6 months of last year, I wrote down everything that I wanted to come true, everything that I wanted out of the rest of the year. And I wrote it down in a way of like, I already had these things, which is a manifestation tactic that I came across, that you genuinely visualize yourself already having everything that you want. And I want to say I did it every day once I picked up on that and wrote everything down. But then it kind of dropped off to like once a week, a couple times a week, I would sit down in silence, either in front of a mirror or like after doing breath work, and I would just say out loud everything that I had written down, and I would genuinely like believe it to my core. And it wasn't like a lot of things, but I want to say like a handful of those things came true. I haven't done it again for this year. What I did this year is what I'm calling a talk nice to yourself list. So I basically wrote like compliments to myself, things that I'm proud of, but also along the lines of like things that that I know I will accomplish, but I haven't yet. This year has been, so far, so many things have happened that I can't say that I've been doing daily affirmations. But it is something that here and there I work on. Okay, fourth question, how am I so fit? So contrary to popular belief, you guys think that I don't eat. You guys think that it's genetic, and I hate to break it to you, but I simply watch what I eat. Ow. I'm always eating out. I don't limit myself. Yeah, guys, it's literally just being nice to my body. Go to the gym once in a blue moon, but what I do work out in is I do yoga several times a week at my own house, and I do body weight exercises with like the resistance band. I have like hand weights, the kettlebell. That's really all it is. It's not genetics. My parents were really skinny when they were younger because they lived in Cuba, and obviously there was like not much to eat, so you couldn't really gain weight. But my goal this year is to gain weight and also to get back into running, because I did go to the doctor, and because I eat a lot of sweets, my cholesterol is a little high. So I do have to work on that. And I did used to run like at least once a week before. So I just want to get back into that. And it's an excuse to like leave the house and get some fresh air. Okay, so the fifth one, please don't play with that. The fifth one is not necessarily a question, but it's someone asking me to tell me some of my stories. And I know that you want to hear like a wild story about my past when I was like a hooligan and whatnot. But I don't know how comfortable I am sharing those stories on here. I know a lot of people on TikTok, they go viral because they share like their crazy life stories and one of a kind and this and that, but I don't think I'm there yet. Also, lately, I have been wanting to just let go of those stories and the narrative that comes with them. I have outgrown every single person from that era of my life, and I've also outgrown the situations that I used to put myself in. So I don't see why telling some of those stories is relevant anymore to the person that I am today and the narrative that I'm trying to create for my life. And also, I know that it can seem like I share a lot about my personal life because I'm pretty active on social media, but I feel like I only share what I want you to know. I don't really share anything that deep or personal that's ever happened to me, and I'd like to keep it that way. I feel like I am a pretty private person when it comes to that. So I don't know if I'm gonna give you guys a wild story, but I'll give you a fun story. Something that you guys liked when I was sharing this content last year was about like my solo traveling that I did a lot. So I want to talk about the first day that I landed in Costa Rica as a solo traveler. I had found a tour company and I booked it for myself. I had to go from my Airbnb to the kind of more central area of Quepos, and from there we got on like a private bus, and I was alone. Everybody there was really nice, and surprisingly there was another solo female traveler. She was from Canada. She was super cool, and I literally, that tour was the whole day. It was from like, I want to say 8 a.m. and we probably got back at like 4 p.m. It was a hiking tour. So the first place we went by the bus. It was like a waterfall, and I achieved something that I've been wanting to do like a crazy person since the Twilight movie New Moon, when Bella jumps off the cliff. I've always wanted to do that. So I was very scared and I hesitated a lot until I was just like, no amount of talking is going to get me to do this, so I'm just gonna like full send it. And I jumped off the waterfall. It was super fun. And then from there we hiked to a place that was a little more chill, and that was really cool because I love hiking and I hadn't done it in a really long time, but I've never hiked in a bikini, and it just felt so like freeing to be out in nature. And I don't know, it was like so great. At that second spot I got to like take some pictures and just really like touch all the rocks. I felt like I was just in the best one with nature situation that I could have put myself in. And then after chilling myself out, we continued the hike like super uphill, and this was arguably more dangerous than the cliff jump. And not everybody did this, but we got to another waterfall, and we had to scale the side of this rock formation with the sketchiest little ladder. The rock was like slick. Once you get up there, the waterfall wasn't coming like off the mountain, it was just straight down. So like the rock was right behind it. So it was like a natural slide. And you know, I saw a couple people do it and I was kind of like, yeah, I'm already here, you know, like let's just do it. And I get the tour guide, he like positions me, he tells me like I have to hold on to like my bikini top like this and kind of like go down. And then he was like, don't be scared, like I'm literally gonna place you and like push you off. So as he does this, I was like, oh shit, like I'm going down pretty fast. And in that moment, it dawned on me that I can't really see when I'm gonna hit the water. So I didn't know when I should start holding my breath. Thankfully, I timed it well, but I do have to say, like, once I hit the water and the angle that was like straight down, I went down really deep. And to come back up, like my hair was all over my face. I was super disoriented, but you know what? Everything was cool and safe. I don't know if I would necessarily do it again, but it was really fun. So yeah, they ended up taking us to a beach. This was the most pleasant surprise because another thing that has always been on my bucket list is to go to a black sand beach. So this was a black sand beach. You could see like the cloud forest in the back, and it was like a cove. It extended for miles in every direction. There were caves you could like scale. It was just, I tried to take videos, but it really didn't do it any justice. I thought that was the best way to end that first day. That was only the first day. And then yes, we got dropped off. So leave me a comment actually, because I would love to share that tour company. They do a lot of other tours in Costa Rica because those guys were amazing, especially to make you feel safe as a solo traveler. I would definitely recommend it. So if you're interested, leave me a comment and I'll look through my email to try to find the receipt and the booking, and I'll link it in the description. And also, I just am so excited to experience a feeling like that again this year. Question number 6, do I believe in aliens? Yes, I do believe in aliens. It's cold and I don't want to take my sweater off, but I have my UFO tattoo. I've believed in aliens since I was a kid. Truly in part because my dad has always been really into sci-fi, and he's always believed in aliens since he was younger. And I've always felt like really connected with my dad, so we used to bond over that a lot. I also love sci-fi. I feel now that the alien conspiracy theories have just been getting so out of pocket though. I have one that I believe. I'm not gonna get too into it because I feel like this video is gonna be long enough, but I do believe that at some point the human genome was altered by alien DNA, like there are ancestors. I've always felt that that was something that is true, and it also plays into how, if you believe in reincarnation, how some people believe that they're like star children. Don't quote me on this, but I also think that there's like 3 tiers of reincarnation or of souls, that like one of them is just like an earth soul, like you are born and die here and you always reincarnate here. And some people come from other universes, planets, and then it's like the ascension, that you finalized your time, but sometimes you reincarnate like to teach others a lesson. So I don't know, I feel like that whole thing ties into the alien life, and I do believe in it. Next question, number 8. Why do I live in Miami, and if there is anywhere else I'd want to live? So I was born here, and as lame as this is going to sound, the truth is that I'm comfortable living here. Even though I truly do not like this city, I have not liked this city for a very long time. It comes and goes, it fluctuates. But I've lived here so long because I was fortunate enough to always have or find like a stable job. And even when that wasn't the case anymore, that I didn't really have anything stable and I could have moved, I was like in a relationship, as toxic as it was. And I think in like 2020, 2022. Well, in 2020, I almost moved. I'm so thankful that I didn't. But in 2022, I started seriously looking into what it would be like to move, especially outside of the United States. And I kind of like applied for some jobs, but if it wasn't one thing, it was another. So that didn't happen. Now, the reason why I'm living here is money. I feel like I know people do it all the time. They like dip and they only have like $1,000 in their bank account. But I'm not that person. I would live under constant turmoil if that were the case. So I want to have like a good cushion before I move out of Miami. But I do see myself getting out of here in the next, realistically, 2 to 3 years. And if I stay in the States, I would consider either moving somewhere in Cali because I have a lot of friends there, or New York, because I kind of have always wanted to live there. I don't know for how long I would live there though. I've always also really liked Boston, and the safest option I guess would be North Carolina. My best friend lives there, and it's like less risky in the sense that it's, I think, probably the least expensive. And I do love that it has the more, aside from Cali, it has more like nature options than moving just from one city to another big city. But if I were to leave the United States, easiest option would be Spain. I have family there, but I have really been looking into Italy and Portugal. All right, guys, last question. Thank you for watching this so far. So the last question is, how am I maneuvering dating? I love this question because for 7 months last year, I didn't date at all. So I recently started dating again, and I want to say back in like October or something is when I took it seriously, and I was like, I am going on dates. I am dating people. And I did that because I downloaded like a couple dating apps. That was so interesting just because I am not someone that entertains people. I'm not one for the small talk. And especially with men, a lot of them not only look the same, but they have like the same pickup lines, interests, and it's just so boring, honestly. My main thing about maneuvering dating is not stringing people along, not using anyone just because you're bored, being very upfront about what it is that you want and your expectations. Yeah, like we're all adults. I don't see the point in telling someone that you really want a relationship and you want kids and you want that and asking them all these questions about themselves, and then you're creating like a false narrative in their head. They're over here thinking that you're asking them all these questions because you see them as a potential match or a potential for a long-term relationship, and then you just switch it up in like a month, and all of a sudden it's like, why did I reveal all those intimate things about myself if you didn't see me in that way? So just don't do that. If you just want to have fun, just say you want to have fun. If you just want to go on a couple dates, just go on a couple dates. If you just want to, do the thing, do the thing. Like, I promise you are going to avoid so many problems just by being upfront about what it is that you want. So all that being said, that was a really big reason why I didn't want to even date at all, because I would see it happening to my friends, and people on TikTok would always be like trash talking, going on dates. But then a more personal reason is because I didn't want to project the insecurities that I was left with from my previous relationship onto someone that had nothing to do with that. And it's not that I caught myself doing that, because I really didn't date much. But if I kind of had a crush on someone, or I could like see myself, or I would project it onto like my friends that were trying to date, it was very like negative, and I really was just continuing to think that like everybody was out to get me and everybody was hiding something and this and this and that, like guilty until proven innocent. And that was so detrimental to my mental health that it really wasn't until I took a step back, I had to think back on healthy relationships that I've had, even if they were short, and just like reiterate to myself that not everyone is a piece of trash. And that it took me 7 months to like really drill it into my head. And I have only dated like 2 people. The first person I wouldn't say that I dated, but allegedly, if you go on multiple dates, you are dating. So I guess we dated. They've been cool. Everything's been fine. So yeah, I feel now that I'm at a place where everyone is a blank slate and I don't have to have my guard up at all. While boundaries and expectations are good to have, I think the most important part is knowing for myself what I can stand, having a level of emotional intelligence that I know that I'm not going to hurt somebody else because I'm hurt, and just kind of knowing when to leave. Honestly, a lot of people just settle because of time or because of their age, and that's definitely not something that I'm gonna do. All right, guys, so thank you so much for watching. It was very nice to share something a little more personal about myself with you guys. If you have any other questions that this video ignited in you, or any topics of videos that you would like to see me dive into, just let me know in the comments. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.